Are you looking for fresh ingredients and produce? Shopping at your local farmer's market is always a great place to start.
Everything looks so good. It can be a little bit overwhelming, though, to decide what to buy.
It is the cover story in Eating Well magazine, and Jessie Price, the editor-in-chief of the magazine, is joining us live to share some tips because we want to shop strategically. Welcome, Jessie. We're happy to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Do they plan markets out in a certain way like they do the supermarket where the milk is always in the back? Are there certain stands that are going to be up front that are going to quench my senses?
No, and that is part of the reason it's overwhelming. They don't plan it out like the supermarket or in a strategic kind of way. It's just full sensory overload the minute that you get there. And that's, that was one of our first tips that we thought about for this story was do a reconnaissance loop. So walk your market and see what's there before you start buying. And that way you're not going to run out of money or run out of arms to carry all the stuff that you buy before you get through the market.
Yeah, there's so many great farmers markets in Connecticut. We were just talking about one in our neighborhood that goes weekly.
Yep.
Should you just think of a recipe you want to make before you go, or you just buy? I feel like sometimes I walk away with way too much and then I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, so I would say no. I mean, it's funny being an editor of a food magazine. We're always trying to help people plan and be prepared for what to make for dinner. But with the farmer's market, it's the exact opposite. I would say do not go with a list. Do not go with a plan. Go and just get inspiration because you're going to find stuff that you haven't cooked before or varieties you're not familiar with. And I think that is one of the best things about the farmer's market. So go. Get it. Ask the farmer. I mean, that's the first thing you can do is ask the farmer what they do with it. If they have something funky that they get asked about all the time, some of them will actually bring little recipe cards with them.
Oh, yeah.
But, if the farmer doesn't have a good tip for you or you don't like their idea, bring the stuff home. And then, of course, you know where to look. Eating Well magazine or go online, you're going to find plenty of recipes and solutions there.
Now, I'm always tempted to bring my credit card to a farmer's market because I don't really carry cash, but I think you're going to recommend bringing cash with you. Is that right?
Yeah, so today a lot of the vendors will take credit cards and it's not a problem, but we recommend bringing cash because some still are cash only. But the other reason is it's just good for their bottom line. They don't, when you pay cash, they take home all that money as opposed to paying a % or two to the credit card company.
How do we choose? Let's say we're going to the tomatoes or we're going to the peaches.
Yes.
How do you know which one's the right one to pick?
I don't know, a beefsteak from
Okay, so let's talk tomatoes. Tomatoes first. So a lot of what you'll find at the farmer's market are heirlooms, and you should just expect the imperfect. So like this one, it has this funky, sort of brown stuff on the bottom. That's not bad. This is going to be a lovely tomato to eat. And it's an heirloom that has funky stuff like that. With peaches, we learned something really cool from Ricky Martin, who is a orchard owner in Washington State and talked to us for this story. He told us that peaches have shoulders, and that's this top part on either side of the stem end, and it flattens out. So this one is a little bit flattened. It flattens out when the flesh gets nice and soft and juicy. It allows those shoulders to just sink down a little bit, and that is an indication of ripeness.
Droopy shoulders on your peaches. That's what you want.
Who knew?
Who knew?
I love it.
What about watermelons? I'm always shaking them and banging them and all different types of things. And cantaloupes, I'm supposed to hear the seeds. Is there any truth to that?
Okay, so watermelons, you're looking for this creamy spot on the bottom. This is indicating that it's been sitting in the field. Once the watermelon starts to ripen and it's on the ground, it starts to get this beautiful creamy spot. So you want a big creamy colored patch on the bottom. That's a ripe watermelon. Now with the cantaloupe, you pick it up, you look for the stem end right here. Sniff it, and it should be super fragrant. If it's not a problem. Bring it home, but just let it sit out on the counter for a day or two until it gets that beautiful fragrance, and that's how you know when it is actually ripe and ready to go.
And the paper bag trick? Did you ever do that?
You put certain
Put
fruits in a-
Oh
fruits
yeah,
in a paper
well,
bag?
put it in the paper bag with a banana. So bananas release ethylene gas, and that is a type of gas that makes other produce ripen really quickly. So they say, like put them in a bag with avocados, for example. But if you don't want your produce to ripen quickly, keep the bananas separately.
Okay. We're running out of time, but really quick, should we put any of it in the refrigerator to make it last longer, or is that a bad idea? I always heard you don't put bananas in the refrigerator, ever.
You know what? You actually can put them in the refrigerator and they will last long. The skin will turn black, but they're totally fine. On the inside, you peel off that black skin and they're perfect, good to go. And that, that's true with a lot of this produce here. Even tomatoes, once they're totally ripe, you can put them in the refrigerator and not degrade the quality of them.
That's so right with the bananas, because I'll put them in the refrigerator and they will turn this ugly dark brown, and people are like, you're not going to eat that banana, but the inside is just as good as leaving them out on the counter.
Exactly.
I didn't know. I always threw it away after.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much for the information. We will definitely make sure we bring cash and start looking, and I guess just...
And we should bring sustainable bags too, right? Shopping bags?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Jessie. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
For more information, you can visit eatingwell.com. It's a great magazine with a lot of simple recipes. You can just eat fresh. It's published by the same company that owns WFSB. That is the Meredith Corporation. We like to call it Auntie Meredith.
We got a lot of good publities out there, don't we?
We do.
That we're owned by.
Yeah.
I love it.
Eating Well and Food and Wine.
Just